one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
I'm going to need a second best from the chat here, guys. Trump is announcing, okay, there is some breaking news here. Trump is apparently going to be talking in regards to tariffs here, maybe on auto manufacturing. In about 15 minutes, he's going to be signing a bunch of executive orders, but there's been rumors circulating all day that he's going to be announcing some pretty massive updates on the tariffs here. So, of course, guys, I had to go live. We might be entering some trades. We had over a $5,000 trade just a little bit earlier to trade today that we ended up closing here. So we'll be doing a giveaway here, as we can see on the screen. Of course, showing the well, actually, I can't even show it here because I don't know where the I have to reload my X. Apparently, got to reload my X because things are behind. There you go. So yeah, huge trade here today. We'll be giving away $100 to one lucky individual that does repost this tweet, guys. Had an amazing trade within the Telegram as we were live streaming in there a little bit earlier today. But the roll call is at 5 p.m. So we're expecting Donald Trump to speak in 13 minutes here with these tariff updates, which will more than likely bring a lot of volatility to these markets. So in the last about 4 hours here, really since the morning show, we've been we were on the downside. We came all the way down to $91,900 after touching $94,600, seeing massive liquidation spikes, running back up to $94,000 in about $200, coming back down to $93K. Now we're at $93,700. And I think markets are getting ready for these announcements. And I don't know if this is a reverse head and shoulder potentially here on the 5 minutes. Could be some nice upside action here. But in the last really 6 hours, guys, we have had some pretty major news segments that kind of shocked me. So I'm going to play these through here with you guys here today. But ultimately, I do need to reshare the screen because I don't think I have the audio just yet for you guys. So here is number one. Check this out, guys. Coinbase comes out and says sovereign wealth funds are buying Bitcoin.
The head of strategy at Coinbase Institutional. Tell us what's going on in terms of the coupling, decoupling. I don't really know, because there's periods of time where it feels very coupled, then it feels uncoupled, then it feels like it's coupled up again.
Right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's great to be back on. So when we talk about decoupling, we're really talking about neutral to negative correlation. And more specifically, we're talking about negative correlation when markets panicking on the downside. Nobody minds correlation when it's upside correlation. You know, first and foremost, got to be super careful, right? This is a relatively short-term data set, April. You don't want to assume it's going to persist. I could be making a fool of myself right now, and today it could jump to a 1 correlation. The other thing you want to be careful about is, even if we understood exactly the reasons, and I'll get into what we think they are, just because this occurred now, it doesn't mean if that similar set of events occurred, we'd have exactly the same behavior. So just a disclaimer, be very, very careful. And that applies to gold, that applies to any asset. So the nice thing about my position is I don't have to guess as to what traders are thinking. We're kind of the center of the crypto ecosystem. So when you called me, I made a bunch of calls. And the pools of capital that have been buying during April, sovereign wealth funds, large institutional, long-term duration pools of capital, they're looking at it basically 3 ways. One is, if you think about the tariff announcement April 2nd, if you believe that that's going to have a spillover effect on global trade, you believe there's going to be less global trade, then much of which is denominated in US dollars, then you think there'll be lower demand for US dollars, that we refer to as de-dollarization. Well, some of the ways Bitcoin is used by these large pools of capital is they buy it in their local fiat currency, they hold it, and they sell it into dollars when they need it. Well, if you think dollar is going to weaken, then you don't do that anymore. And so you're holding more Bitcoin. And these, again, large insurance pools, sovereigns, et cetera. So that's one thing, is this de-dollarization trade. The second piece is that post-COVID, Bitcoin kind of got caught up in this levered tech trade, kind of just bundled into the QQQ, bundled into NVIDIA. It's not really a tech stock, but it kind of got associated with tech stocks.
Was it? I always thought that the issue was that there were retail investors who were taking their winnings, in some cases, from an NVIDIA or a Apple or Meta, whatever, one of the Mag 7, and then moving it into Bitcoin. And therefore, then it was all tracking, because to the extent that then they owned that other stuff too.
Right.
Whenever it went down, they had to sell out of stuff. They also were selling out of Bitcoin.
During the bubbly periods in tech stocks, that's not an unfair assumption, but I'll note one thing. So for the month of April, as you would expect, gold ETF inflows were massive, I think $8.5 billion roughly from the 2nd through the 22nd. Okay. Might surprise you to learn that Bitcoin ETF flows were net negative to the tune of about 470 million. So the opposite of that was occurring. So institutions, sovereigns, patient pools of capital were piling in during April, which resulted in about a 13% increase in Bitcoin versus 10.5 for gold. And retail via the ETF were exiting. So you got to kind of ask yourself, what do the institutions know?
Were the
that
institutions buying Bitcoin direct? And how many of them are now buying via ETFs or other forms?
Well, hard to say. They don't, especially the sovereign wealth funds don't report.
Right. No, but you're also, I imagine, seeing the ETFs buying, because the ETF should be buying on a
in the last couple of days.
But the ETF should be buying on a relative basis on behalf of their customer base.
Right, assuming there were inflows, right? But the last couple of days, yes, we've had inflow. But still, as of yesterday, should change today, we've had net negative ETF inflows. So, so the first reason is de-dollarization. The second reason is this tech unwinding of this big levered tech trade and Bitcoin trading on its core characteristics, which again are similar to gold. You've got scarcity, immutability, non-sovereign asset, portability. Right. So trading the way people who believe in Bitcoin would like it to trade. Mm-hmm. The last was, to me, the most interesting, which is I spoke to a couple of traders who said, look, if you believe these conditions, these de-dollarization conditions are going to persist, you're looking at gold, obviously, first and foremost, but maybe you missed out on that trade. You're looking at that rally and saying, I missed the boat on that. So what other assets could participate in that market panic long-term inflation hedge? When you do the work, there's a very short list of assets that mirror the characteristics of gold. Mm-hmm. Bitcoin is on that short list. In addition to the 4 characteristics I mentioned, its mining scarcity, its mining difficulty gets harder over time.
Yeah, and you can add 2 or 3 more good things about Bitcoin.
And there you go, guys. So, yeah, CNBC, for everybody, let's tune it in. 7 minutes away. We're 7 minutes away from Donald Trump speaking at the Oval Office in the White House. He's signing executive orders. We're expecting, there's a lot of rumors circulating that there's going to be quite a few responses to tariffs. Now, if I have any guess on how this is going to go, they're going to be the same conversations we heard yesterday, maybe 1 or 2 little things. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit lenient here, or maybe it's automakers. But ultimately, usually we see downside action after Donald Trump speaks. So, either way, it's going to be volatile. I think, I don't even know how many times he's spoken. If you're trading these outcomes, usually there's downside. It's a buy the rumor, sell the news type event for the day. So could open up some scalp trades, but we don't know the full conversation that is happening now, less than 6 minutes away. So if you're now tuning in, hit that like button. Make sure you repost if you're on X. What we just watched was CNBC here talking about, and I don't know where my interview went. There it is. How Coinbase is looking at, Coinbase has said they see sovereign wealth funds are buying, but ultimately there's 3 ways that these institutions are looking at these inflows. While retail was panicking month over month, institutions were accumulating those bottom regions there because they look at Bitcoin similar to gold. So again, just incredible news coming out. It's insane to watch where we've come in terms of just adoption and conversations on these mainstream media panels there for you. But Michael Saylor also came out and said something today. This was insane. Michael Saylor had another interview, of course. Actually, I haven't even watched this one just yet. I think that was a little bit older here. But was this from the Swan? I'm lucky enough to grind at 10% of the supply. So in this video, he essentially breaks down that he's just going to keep buying. And that, whether he peaks at 5% of Bitcoin supply, they're talking about 10%. He's like, people are going to hate me if I have 10%, but this is where we're going. We're going to keep borrowing. We're going to keep buying. We're not going to stop buying. So, that's kind of at least optimism for a lot of people. It's a hopium there for a lot of people that rely on strategy. But you have to realize now that strategy is not the only player here. You have Jack Mallers with what we covered this morning with the new company that's being launched through Lutnick and et cetera. There's going to be a race to pretty much buying this Bitcoin, and it's going to become less and less likely they ever reach even that 5% gold. Because at 5%, or not 5% gold, but 5% Bitcoin, if they have 5% of Bitcoin supply, Michael Saylor says Bitcoin's price would be at roughly $1 million per token. So the race has started. The countdown, it hasn't begun. It's over. The floodgates are opening up. And that was a very interesting interview to come see from Michael Saylor here a little bit earlier today. So huge things taking place in these markets. Right now, it really just seems to be all in talks about what President Trump said earlier today, which was the following clip.
In 1913, they traded to the income tax system. We used to be all tariff, and we had no income tax, so we had the wealthiest country we've ever had proportionately. From about 1870 to 1913, it was all tariffs, and we had more money than anybody. They had committees how to spend the money. They had so much money they didn't know how to spend. Then some brilliant person said, let's go income tax. Let's let the people pay. Now, we're going to be able to substantially lower taxes when this is finished. You know, in 19...
Oh, there it is. MSNBC somehow actually reporting on Donald Trump without cutting the clip there. Yeah, so everybody is waiting. Unfortunately, guys, it's like almost every time Donald Trump opens his mouth, the markets tank. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here today. Let me know. Let's get the roll call here, guys. We're now 3 minutes away. Type pump or dump if you think markets are going to pump or dump after the speech. I want to know where you guys are all sitting at with this. I did just get breaking news on something I've been working on. So I'm about to share you guys something. I'm about to share something crazy. Where are we at? Actually, I can only share this if we have a set amount of likes. We're at 700 viewers roughly right now. Where are we at with likes, guys? Give me a like count in the chat here. Let me see what the like count is in chat here. Because we're going to make a... I'm going to show you guys something, but we got to hit the likes for it. This is crazy. This is crazy. Drump. We got a Donald Trump. I like that one. That's good. Nothing burger like always. Hey, gotta have some optimism, you know? Burgers are good, though. You know, we would like to have actually real meat for this time, real substance, and not just vegan burgers. We're at 690. 67 likes. All right, let's get to 200 likes, guys. Tap that like button. Tap that like button. 46 likes? 106 likes? Guys, hit that. We got to get to 200 likes. There's 700 people in here. Hit that like button. You know what you're doing. Let me go over here. I'm going to look at it right now. We're going to get a live count. 735 people right now. I know we're live late. Hit that. Oh, my goodness. Is that what I sound like? I sound like a little tool, man. 138 likes, guys. Hit that like button. At 200 likes, I'm going to show you guys this because, yeah, this is absolutely awesome. Let me show you this. Let's see where it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. That's crazy. It's actually happening. It's actually happening. I'm excited for this. But I'm excited to show you what I'm about to show you. You guys have no idea what's about to happen. So all I could say this, okay? You guys might remember me heading up to New York a few weeks back. I'm about to tell you who I met with and who we are working on a really cool event with. So I'll show you guys in just a second. We're almost there, though. Josh isn't likable. He is lovable, dude. Man, Dylan, you deserve a hug, man. Hit the likes hit the likes for Christ's sakes. You guys are going crazy, man. Guys, we were like a minute away from Trump, so we're either gonna have to do this before we can do it before he comes live, but we're now moments away. So hit that like button. We're almost there. Donald Trump is gonna be speaking here on tariffs in just a moment. Watch the volatility come into place, but I see the likes ticking up here, so I'm gonna show you guys right now. Okay, here you go. I'm happy to announce that I met with New York City's mayor for a lunch. About, what was this? It feels like 2 months ago, just a few weeks ago. You guys know when I was out, though. It was a last minute fly up session there. Had an opportunity to sit down with Mayor Adams and pretty much just talk to him about what they want to do with the city of New York. In that meeting, the mayor announced that he'd be putting together the first ever crypto summit for the state of New York City. At the mayor's mansion, we're going to be bringing together he would be bringing together all the like-minded industries, partners, biggest Web3 creators and everything that you can kind of think of, not influencers, but company-wise, Uniswap, Ethereum, Sui, etc. And here's the official announcement. So they actually are rolling out this announcement. This is what I met for that lunch. This is what we discussed on. This is what they want to build and establish within the state of New York. I ultimately talked to him about how, as a 27-year-old entrepreneur, I hate the fact that just next week, I have to go to Dubai to raise money. I have to go to Dubai to talk to advertisers. I have to go to Dubai to talk to financial regulators. In the United States, it's very complex. Over the last 4 years, the Biden administration had been just running through us. You guys have been seeing me as a huge vocal and part of a lot of these policies. I just recently tried helping with, was accomplished, but helped Samuel Arms push his bill with the Florida Blockchain Business Association, and of course, his representative down there that sponsored the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill in Florida, passed it through the House committee. It's on its way to the Senate floor. We've been working our asses off to try to make crypto a better place in the United States. And Eric Adams is rerunning for mayorship here in New York in August, and he is going to be bringing that at its forefront. So there's going to be some massive announcements. I can't speak on what we're going to disclose at this event just yet, but the event has officially been released, and here's the official statement. New York City Mayor Eric Adams and Chief Technical Officer Matthew Frazier will host New York City's first crypto summit next month. Attendees will include prominent founders, CEOs, and investors from the cryptocurrency, blockchain, and fintech industries to discuss how the growing industry can boost the economy, attract top talent, and inspire innovation in New York City. Those expected to be in attendance manage more than $1 trillion in assets. So I can say that. I guess I think they're already leaking that information, but those will be in attendance, and it's a very small group, guys. It's a private event that I'll be attending, getting guys all that insight on Discover Crypto here. But more than $1 trillion in assets that Mayor Adams is looking to bring to the New York City. This event will reinforce Mayor Adams' forward-thinking leadership on digital asset financial technologies and come on the heels of the White House Digital Asset Summit in March. So you guys know New York's been notoriously known for being a huge censorship when it comes to crypto adoption and innovation within the United States. New York has passed things like the Bit License Act. They've passed, they've pushed out innovation out of the city, and they've made it almost incredibly impossible to start as a startup within Wall Street. So that is what the mayor is going to be attacking here. In 2022, Mayor Adams famously became the first U.S. mayor to have his first three his mayor paychecks converted into Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are now up like 3x. So he's obviously very happy. And as he said at the time, New York is the center of the world, and we want to be at the center of cryptocurrency and other financial innovations. Throughout the administration, Adams championed technologies to build safer, more affordable cities of New Yorkers, and remains committed to growing the city's economy, attracting new talent, enabling innovation through the use of digital assets. So, yeah, I get to just pretty much announce I'm proud to be, working alongside this and helping put this event together. But obviously, I'm very excited to see what Adams and his team are able to put together here for New York in opening up that access back to United States citizens. So that's going to be a really, really cool moment here next month. What else we got here, though? I heard someone bleep in. I heard TJ too.
Yeah, I'm hanging out here. I've got about 20 or so minutes before I have to take off, but I was watching you in the other office. Like, I'll just go to the studio and hop in there and see what's going on. So I sent you a couple things on X. I don't know if you already covered it. There was another. I saw you were looking at some other interviews and stuff. There was a
Jack Mallers.
Yeah, the Jack Mallers thing on Bloomberg. Did you already play that?
No, I have it up though. That's
yeah.
The next step here. But
okay, cool.
Yeah, this is good. No, it's good. Yeah. Hit it.
Well, no, I sent it to you. I figured it'd be easier than switching over. So if you wanted to play it, go ahead and full screen.
Yeah, this was
a couple minutes, but it's a really huge deal. Obviously, we talked about this morning. The SoftBank, Cantor Fitzgerald, Tether. I mean, Tether is really interesting to me. The plays that they're making. They're largest holder of Rumble now. Buying tons of treasuries. Now they're doing basically a MicroStrategy on steroids, launching as I think the number 3 holder of Bitcoin, public holder of Bitcoin.
I think they'll be number 3, yeah.
And they'll probably move to number 2, number 1 pretty quick. I mean, obviously MicroStrategy has a pretty good lead, but I think Tether and Bitfinex, if anybody knows how to close that lead, it's going to be Tether and Bitfinex. They definitely know. For those of you who don't know, Tether, very, very involved with Bitcoin mining. They're probably one of the leaders in that space, big on that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all this develops. That CNBC thing you were playing does go to, I agree, the arms race is on. We are in the end game. We are not counting down to it. We're there. He even mentioned countries, nations in the UAE accumulating a ton of Bitcoin. I literally had a phone call earlier today with somebody that was trying to find holders of Bitcoin with people that hold between 100 and 300 Bitcoin that are willing to part with it, which I'm like, I don't know anybody like that that's willing to part with their Bitcoin right now, but it's because sovereign wealth funds and Arab nations are buying as much Bitcoin as they can possibly get their hands on now. I'm seeing many family offices, many people with hundreds of millions, people with billions, all talking about how can I get as much Bitcoin as possible, as fast as possible. So it's gonna be very interesting.
I completely agree as well. And here's the clip. So as always, guys, Trump is late. Usually they're always like 15 minutes late, but here is Jack Mallard speaking, and this is actually a very interesting interview as well, because you could tell that the person interviewing Jack Mallard is a Bitcoin bear. He is very
He
short
hates
on
it.
Bitcoin. There's something about, guys, I am sorry, if you're from the UK, I have a lot of friends from the UK, but all those friends moved outside the UK because they're tired of the UK, and this is a perfect example of why. So take a listen.
Bitcoin per share as opposed to earnings per share, and the other is BRR, which stands for Bitcoin return rate. And my job and what I'm dedicated to do for our shareholders, in which we view similar to our customers, is grow our Bitcoin per share. So we're an operating company, and when you buy a share of 21, in a hypothetical sense, what we intend to do is, let's say our Bitcoin per share is 0.05. Our intent is to be able to grow that to 0.06 Bitcoin per share, 0.07 Bitcoin per share. Where a vehicle like an ETF, your exposure is static. So 21's an operating business, and we will be building Bitcoin products, Bitcoin operative cash flow, and then using the capital markets to accretively grow the Bitcoin on our balance sheet. So we want our shareholders to get wealthier, get richer in Bitcoin terms, and our metrics encourage the market to view us not in fiat terms, in Bitcoin terms, because we're not here to necessarily beat the market. We're here to build a new one and encourage the world to adopt Bitcoin in a sense that we believe it hasn't yet.
But Jack, you already have a Bitcoin product, and it's Stripe.
Can you turn it up at all?
It's where people can buy, sell, store their crypto. What happens to that? Are you still going to be leading that business?
Yeah, I'm the CEO of both companies. We're actually disclosing today at Strike some of our financials. So Strike, immensely profitable. We have over 20% EBITDA margin, 85% gross profit margin. We have only 75 employees. So on a gross or net profit per employee basis, we got to be one of, if not, the biggest in the Bitcoin space in that regard. And so it's an incredibly strong business. It's doing well. I'm so proud of the employees and our investors and thankful for our customers. And, Caroline, you can just do things. And I'm going to lead both businesses. I truly believe my purpose on this planet is to try and help Bitcoin have a chance to change the world in what I believe is the right direction. And I think Strike and 21 both independently work towards that.
Jack, you have plans to raise capital, and I guess not just like as a one-off, over time raise capital, right? How will that work in practice? What mechanisms will you use? And a lot of people that watch the show ask, if they're not registered institutional investors, how can they participate in that?
Yes. I thought for a second you were going to offer me some money to buy some Bitcoin.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm kidding, man.
Go with my actual question.
No, totally.
Absolutely not. Go with my question. Dude, shut the this bro's what the fuck he's sitting on, dude?
Listen, we are hopeful to have our shares listed on a stock exchange under the ticker XXI. Today, we are trading under CEP, which Caroline mentioned is our Cantor Equity Partners, and that stock is trading in live today. If it's successfully merged upon closing, it will be XXI. We do intend to raise as much capital as we possibly can to acquire Bitcoin. Again, my one rule to my shareholders is it will be accretive. Our Bitcoin per share will grow. We will never have Bitcoin per share negative. At least that's our intent. Our intent is to make sure that when you're a shareholder of 21, that you're getting wealthier in Bitcoin terms. And that's my job as a CEO to deliver that. So we plan on raising capital in all different type of sectors and markets and really blending Bitcoin and incorporating it in the traditional financial system to deliver a powerful equity to the public markets for Bitcoiners.
Is that the selling point versus ETFs? Because you came up with this idea over the course of years. And since that time, there's not just been strategy that you can invest in or block, but you can get spot Bitcoin ETFs.
Yeah.
What's the upside? And in fact, a viewer from Bloomberg's asking, how can you have more BIPs than an ETF?
Right. Okay. So I got to be clear. I'm not preaching a future that I can promise. This is hypothetical, and this is our intent. Somewhere my lawyers are like, that's our guy, right? But our intent, Caroline, is that when you buy a share of 21, and let's say that's 0.005 Bitcoin per share, we go out and we intend to close deals, build products, add Bitcoin to our treasury to where in which you get a press release and you say, wow, 21's Bitcoin per share grew from 0.05 to 0.06. I just got more Bitcoin exposure. I got wealthier in Bitcoin terms just by being a shareholder of this company. An ETF is not an operating company. IBIT isn't outgrowing your exposure to Bitcoin. It's a static exposure through their security instrument. Whereas for us, we're a business. I'm a CEO. Right. I get up, I work every day to grow how much Bitcoin your share represents on our balance sheet.
How many of you would trust? It's interesting. A lot of chat thinks Jack Mallers sketchy, even though he's like one of the biggest Bitcoin OGs on the entire planet. You guys need to do some. You guys need to read a book. Like, you guys.
Yeah, I saw people comparing it to BlockFi. I'm sure people are and I understand if people are gun shy of anybody else custodying their Bitcoin, but this is very different, I would say, than BlockFi. I mean, it's a public company. You're not really having to trust a whole lot in this guy. And really, you got to look at what's behind him too. Like, not only has he built something pretty successful, which he does touch on in that interview, talking about Strike has 75 employees. It's one of the highest, per employee revenue generating companies. But the other thing that's very interesting is, again, Tether. That is one of the most successful companies on the planet right now. Bitfinex, they've been around this space for a little while. They know how to accumulate Bitcoin, to say the least. And then you got SoftBank and Cantor Fitzgerald, the kind of Wall Street giants that have been around for a long time. Also, have some reputation to uphold, and obviously extremely close ties to Howard Lutnick. He being the head of Cantor Fitzgerald right now. Brandon Lutnick is Howard Lutnick's son, who is the head of Howard Lutnick, the head of commerce here in the U.S., one of Trump's right-hand men. So I'm not saying you guys you don't even have to give him your Bitcoin. You're just buying shares. And the point he was making is they're going to grow your shares in Bitcoin value. And I would trust a company like this to know how to accumulate more Bitcoin at a good price and arguably do it much better than MicroStrategy. And that's what's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. Let me see if I bring this up. It's going to get hotly contested. I'm sure Michael Saylor knew he had time to get his advantage, but he needed to move as quickly as possible. Nothing against Michael Saylor. He's done a very good job. He's accumulated a ton of Bitcoin. But these guys, they are, again, institutional giants. They've been doing this a long time. They know how to accumulate an asset. And it's interesting, they put out this metric that's basically literally comparing 21 Capital to Strategy, saying pure play Bitcoin exposure. They're both similar to that. They both have pure exposure. I think 21 is going to have some more products and some more things to offer other than just the treasury strategy. Bitcoin native operations, Strategy doesn't have them. 21 is claiming they will. Existing debt balance, Strategy has some. 21 doesn't. Collateralized debt, same thing. Insider ownership. Now, this was what was interesting. They're claiming Strategy has insider ownership and they don't have any. I mean, it seems pretty insider ownership to me, but again, I'm sure they're looking at their shares and their distribution, but none of us got a chance to buy it. We'll say that. And then purpose-built KPIs. It's interesting. If I'm a MicroStrategy holder, and it's two different audiences. If you're a Bitcoin holder and you don't want to give up your Bitcoin, good on you. You shouldn't self-custody your Bitcoin. That's the way to go, and keep doing that. And I would argue Jack, the CEO here, Jack Mallers, would probably tell you to do the same thing. Don't give me your Bitcoin. I want your dollars, and I'm going to take those dollars and I'm going to help get you more Bitcoin. That's the whole purpose of 21 Capital. And I think what you're going to see, and I think it already happened somewhat today, if you go look at the MicroStrategy stock. Let's see what MicroStrategy did today.
For anybody tuned in for Trump, by the way, guys, he is just late as always here. So we're just waiting on it. The live stream is ready to go. We will be live covering it as soon as they go live from the Oval Office.
Yeah,
and so here you go.
Oh, you got it?
Hit it. You can hit that real quick.
No, go ahead. If you got it, do that. That's more important. I got to run in just a minute anyway.
I don't even know if he's in there yet. It just went live. Oh, there we go.
No. That's cool.
They walked in live.
I like that.
Okay, is the audio too loud? It's too loud for me now. I'm gonna lower it a little bit.
You should keep it up on the system and lower it on YouTube so it's easier to adjust back later if you wanted to. But it's
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'll adjust the map too. Flush. They're struggling. They're struggling right now.
They need to hire us for media.
All right. I'm gonna mute this until they figure out their audio and mics. they're setting up right now, guys, but obviously it seems like they're a little rushed here.
Who are amazing. I've actually visited many of
Got some
them in the
pictures of nice
hospital,
bag.
and they came out better than me. They came out looking good.
Get in
I
that.
had
Get in those
look. I
pores.
would have been president 20 years ago. I wouldn't have had to wait so long. You know, you look great, fellas. But many of them, I didn't even realize it at the time, but I visited many of you in the hospital. They did an incredible job. The doctors are absolutely unbelievable, the job they do. So we were having a little meeting, and at the same time, we're signing some very important legislation, what will become legislation. And right now, it's an executive order and having to do mostly with education. And we have our Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, who's been so incredible over the last few weeks. I've been watching her on television. I'd like to tell her she could do better, but she can't. She can't do any better. So I want to thank you, Linda. Fantastic. And we also have Commerce, and we have Labor with us today. And you have been, thank you, Laura, very much. And Howard, thank you very much. And we'll take some questions after we're finished. Maybe I'll ask Will to step forward, and you can go through some of these. Also, Lindsay, you work with Will, two very talented lawyers, as you all know by now.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And we'll go through them. And Linda, why don't you come over here? In fact, why don't the three of you come over here?
We also have a special guest with us today, sir.
Oh, that's right. Annette Albright. Where is Annette? Annette Albright. Charlotte Mecklenburg, school teacher. Very special one. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have you. Got all sorts of awards for talent. That's good. Thank you very much for being with us. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, please.
Sir, the first executive order we have prepared for your attention, there are currently laws on the books requiring certain disclosures of universities when they accept large foreign gifts. We believe that certain universities, including, for example, Harvard, have routinely violated this law, and this law has not been effectively enforced. So this executive order charges your departments and agencies with enforcing the laws on the books with respect to foreign gifts to American universities.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll put it right here.
Next for you, sir, university accreditation is currently a process controlled by a number of third-party organizations. That's by statute, by law. Many of those third-party accreditors have relied on sort of woke ideology to accredit universities instead of accrediting based on merit and performance. This executive order affects a number of changes to the university accreditation process, also applies to law schools and other sort of graduate programs. But the basic idea is to force accreditation to be focused on the merit and the actual results that these universities are providing, as opposed to how woke these universities have gotten. So we're setting up new accreditation pathways. We're charging the Department of Education to really look holistically at this accreditation mess and hopefully make it much better.
Will we look into the past people that they've taken? For instance, I hear all about certain great schools, and then we read where they're going to teach people basic math that we can all do very easily, but they can't do. They're, going to the top school, and they come out with a program of teaching basic math to somebody that got into a Harvard or a Princeton or a Yale. Is that part of this?
When universities are not performing appropriately, whether that's in admissions or whether that's in their actual instructional activities, that's certainly something that accreditors should be considering, that right now we believe they're not doing a good enough job of. And I think Secretary McMahon could probably speak to that better than I could.
So they're allowing people into school that can't do math, and yet kids who've worked really hard and number one in their class in a high school someplace in New Jersey or in Mississippi, they can't get into the best schools. What is that all about?
Yeah, and I think that gets to your policy, sir, of meritocracy, that we should be looking at those who have real merit to get in, and we have to look harder at those universities that aren't enforcing that.
Okay, thank you. And this pretty much does it, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
The tariff stuff will probably be in the questions, guys.
Yeah.
Or at the very end after he signs his orders.
There's only a few executive orders, so this will be quick.
if you're here in Georgia and you've got an old roof that you've been thinking of replacing for a while, or maybe you have a roof you know you're going to need to replace.
What the?
We have
Dude,
like 3. We got to get you signed into one of the premiums.
Yeah, I'm literally just switching the account. Give me 2 seconds. I'm switching to the account
Brings
right
it
now.
into
There you
effect.
go.
We're going
We're
to
good.
be setting up a White
We're
House
good. I was on the wrong
initiative
account. That's my bad.
HBCUs. The basic
You can make fun of
idea
me.
here is making sure that every aspect of your administration is working to ensure that HBCUs are able to do their job as effectively and as efficiently as possible.
Okay. Okay. All right.
This next executive order relates to artificial intelligence education, sir. You've obviously done a lot in the artificial intelligence space already. The basic idea of this executive order is to ensure that we properly train the workforce of the future by ensuring that school children, young Americans are adequately trained in AI tools so that they can be competitive in the economy years from now into the future as AI becomes a bigger and bigger deal.
That's a big deal because AI is where it seems to be at. We have literally trillions of dollars being invested in AI. And somebody today, a very smart person, said that AI is the way to the future. I don't know if that's right or not, but certainly very smart people are investing in it heavily.
It's tremendous.
Big. It's gonna be huge.
Good. Okay.
Next, sir, we have an executive order on workforce development. This executive order is going to charge numerous departments and agencies within the government to reshape the way that we do workforce development. One example from the executive order, for instance, we're looking to get the total number of apprenticeships, new apprenticeships, up to 1 million in the country to ensure that in critical jobs areas, in areas where we currently don't have enough trained workers, that we're recreating that pipeline to ensure that particularly as we onshore industrial jobs and new industries, that those industries have the workforce they need to be competitive globally.
Right. Very important.
And this is the EO that we're all here working together.
And in a way, this is like a training center, right, for what we're trying to do, which is jobs at great salaries. These are great salaries too.
Right, it's exactly. So all those factories that you're bringing in because of your trade policy, we're going to train people in trade craft, bring back trade craft to America so that people can work in these factories with great paying jobs. And we're going to train them and we're going to remake the American dream for all these people. We're working together.
That's right.
Right, Lori?
Absolutely. This plays right into America at Work Tour, which I have kicked off. We will work with our state partners and work with our businesses to see exactly who they need in that workforce. And we will skill and upskill these apprentices so they can get right to work and get in the field and build back this economy for exactly living the American dream.
Next, sir, we have an executive order on school discipline policies. Under, I believe it was the Biden administration, first Obama and then Biden, the Department of Justice issued guidance that made it almost impossible for schools to enforce adequate disciplinary policies. This created issues in the classroom for teachers and students alike. Basically, they focused on CRT and sort of diversity ideology instead of actually just enforcing the rules in classrooms to ensure a safe learning environment. This executive order revokes that prior guidance and puts us back in a place where hopefully the Department of Education can focus on education and teachers can focus on teaching in a safe environment.
And this was important for you, Linda, as I understand it.
Yeah, absolutely, because it gives teachers the authority now to have discipline in their classroom and discipline the person who is being disruptive.
Great.
We took that away.
Come on, get to the questions. Get to the juicy questions.
I'm gonna have to leave before it gets there.
And then there's 2 more executive orders tonight.
Yeah, and I just have to go somewhere at 5:30.
You should hold that.
You're all good.
Lastly, sir,
I'm
we
gonna
have
be
an
at the gym
executive
late
order
as
on disparate
fuck.
impact theory. This is a theory that underlies a lot of the modern DEI and CRT driven diversity culture. The basic idea here is instructing your departments and
Blah,
agencies
blah, blah.
to no longer rely on disparate impact theory as they're regulating, as they're issuing guidance, as they're making rules. We want to focus on results. We want to focus on actual fairness. We want to focus on merit, not things like disparate impact theory and the whole sort of diversity, equity, and inclusion cult.
It's getting out of that, huh?
Yes, sir.
After being in that jungle for a long time.
Yeah, shout out to everybody on X and Rumble, by the way. We are live on YouTube, X, and Rumble. Been a new partnership with Rumble. It's been going really well. And see the X chats coming in. So let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Very good job.
Thank you, sir.
very much.
Appreciate it.
Very much. Would you like to introduce again Annette, and perhaps Annette wants to say something having to do with that?
To
Annette is right here.
Yes, Annette. Yes, please come over. Would you like to have some comments to make? I know you're a former Charlotte Mecklenburg school teacher. I'm a North Carolina girl, so
Yes,
it's nice
New
to
Bern.
see you. Yes,
Yes.
New Bern.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. This has been an 8-year journey for me to raise awareness to the violence that's in public schools and the critical need to address violence in public schools. Again, been doing it 8 years because most administrations like to keep the violence hidden. We have 3 students that should be here with us today. We have Austin McCalf, I'm sorry if I say his name wrong, Serenity Baker, and Nizir Taylor from Charlotte, North Carolina, who was shot in the back as he was getting off of a school bus because they thought he was a part of a big brawl that happened inside a public high school. So this is very important and critical legislation that we have to keep our educators safe, we have to keep our students safe, and public schools have to be safe environments. So I think, like I said, I've done this journey alone, I've been on it, but I have a whole team behind me now. I spoke at the RNC and I told millions that Donald Trump and his administration was going to make schools great again, and I feel that we're on the right path, and I'm just honored to be here.
Thank you. Just to our great vets that are with us, and is it okay if I give her one? What do you think?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I
Thank you
appreciate it.
very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. What an honor.
Great job. Could I ask Sarah to speak, Gerardo?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tell
Thank
us
you.
a little bit about these great gentlemen.
These heroes, Mr. President, are extraordinary. This is my husband, Michael, and so many of our dear, dear friends who are here today.
Disappear until June. Tomorrow morning,
How?
we're starting the 28-day
How
AI
the-
challenge for beginners over 50.
I'm on premium. I'm on premium.
Well, I muted it so we don't have to listen to it.
Fuck this dude's course. That's what I think.
Starting
20th surgery post-Afghanistan, and you
All right, I'm
came to
good.
see him at Walter Reed, and so many others.
Apparently we're behind, it says.
We saw great reform in the
live.
VA, access, same-day access to prosthetics, mental health
Sorry.
care, and we know that that is back. We're going to, these gentlemen were saying, Alex here asked him, this gentleman.
Yeah, probably
We
right.
asked him to prove that he still
They're tripping.
has his injuries, as though maybe his limbs would grow back. And they
Wow.
unfortunately did not. Yes, and we've seen that many times. And so we're excited for you bringing back the VA accountability,
Oh,
mission
go
Act,
to the
community
Fox stream?
care, that were the hallmark of
We'll
your.
leave this
I'll try it.
running.
I don't need
Yeah.
to listen to her. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're good. We want to get to the questions anyway, so let me try Fox.
President, we're very happy with the energy that this administration is bringing, and it's an administration that does what it promises, and so we're behind you. We believe in you, and I think we all love you. We got to speak for everyone.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to get you a better hat. Say I have better hats. That's a good one. That was the original.
It was.
That means he was there,
I've
right?
been wearing it before. It was cool.
That's right. That's an early one. We'll save that one though, right?
Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you. Anybody, please?
I'd like to stay. Oh, I was just going to say thank you for loving America, sir.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Very nice. Thank you very much. True. Thank you.
Sir, that spoke saved Michael Broder's life. And of course, he goes immediately to say thank you, as he was the one that saved Michael Brado, put him in the helicopter, and got him off the combat zone.
Wow.
So the selflessness of these men is unspeakable.
That's great. See ya.
W's in the chat,
Man,
dude.
right here.
That's very good.
W's in the chat for them. No, guys.
Amazing people, great heroes.
Never mind.
So That's really great. Anybody else? Yes,
I'd like to say it was an honor to serve. You're worth it. This country's worth it. And it's because of what Christ paid for.
thank you. And we have a spirit that people haven't seen in many years, at least 5. That, they haven't seen. I think even then, because we've been through so much for the last 4 years together, it was so bad. It was so bad what they've done to the borders, what they've done all over the place. And it's really an honor to be with you, all of you. Incredible. And I'm going to give you these coins that I think you're going to really like them. I think they're the best. These are
They're the best,
coins.
dude.
And you have your chips. This is gunmetal. I don't know.
Yeah, no, guys. What I was referring to, I just meant wasn't covering this. We're covering crypto news, and we're trying to cover the tariff conversation. The vets matter, guys. The vets matter. It's okay. You can breathe. Y'all's mics, yeah, they are always very quiet here, guys. I will shut up as soon as I turn it back up here. But we're just waiting for the news conversations to happen or the questions to take place. How do you know this is about a tariff update? Because there's multiple leaks that said they're going to discuss it. Howard Lutnick's there as well. So it's been leaks. It's been leaks. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic so you guys can turn up your audio.
I'm giving him 2.
We have 3 girls. They're going to
This
fight.
one right here. We'll get another one too. Okay. This is actually fun.
I'll take the gold, Mr.
Okay, I thought you were going to take that gold one. Okay,
Gold one, sir.
okay, you got it.
I had an opportunity to sail across the Gulf of America 2 days after you named it right.
Oh, wow, isn't that great? It's been an honor. And now people say it routinely.
Yep.
They don't even think about the that they say it routinely. That's been a great honor for me. Okay,
Take a gold one. Sir.
okay. Almost even. I think gold has an edge.
Oh, I would love a gold one.
You
Sir.
got it?
Thank you so much.
Everybody's going to take gold.
It picked up at the end, right? So you all okay? That's good. So I want to thank you very much, and especially that's a great story. Yeah. So what do you think of a guy like that? Pretty good.
Oh, we actually, him and him, we all served together.
Wow.
And Jared over there.
So you
And
guys,
oh, I forgot.
so you guys got hit, huh? Pretty good. You got hit.
Pretty good.
Amazing,
We're in a
amazing.
pretty tough area in Kandahar, in the Argonaut River Valley, right
Right, it's
outside
tough.
Kandahar.
Their unit had a more than 50% Purple Heart rate, sir,
Wow.
in 2010.
You deserve it. You deserve that and more. We appreciate it so much. Brave, really brave, brilliant people. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions of the guys here?
I want to say thank you to the veterans who are here. Thank you so much for defending us. And then I wanted to ask you, Mr. President, because you said you want to bring the tariffs on China down soon. How soon do you want to bring the tariffs on Chinese goods
Well, that
down?
depends on them. We have a situation where we have a very, very great.
Hey, W's in the chat for the veterans one more
United
time, guys.
States of America, and it's been ripped off for years and years. These people know it. We talked about it before you came in. We've been ripped off by every country in the world practically, and friend and foe. And we're not doing that anymore. So what's happened is Howard, how many countries have we spoken to already? 90. And they all want to make deals, and we're going to make deals, but they're going to be fair deals. They're not going to be rip-off deals. And, we were losing almost $5 billion a year. No country.
I was laughing at my grandpa doing chair yoga until I saw him after a couple of weeks.
I made it my goal to get a
25% on.
I swear to God, I'm on a premium account. This is bullshit.
There's a rush to build new steel plants, a rush to
Crazy.
build new aluminum plants, and a biggest rush I've ever seen, that we've ever seen, to
Jesus.
build car plants.
I give
There's
up,
like
dude.
11 of them or something, big ones. Where you guys maybe work, maybe you won't want to work. You'll do something else instead of that. But if you like cars, you'd like to work at one of these plants, the biggest plants in the world. 3 of them have left Mexico before construction started, one of them during construction. And they're coming to this country. They're coming back. Don't forget, and we get along great with Mexico, but Mexico took 32% of our car building business. So it's amazing what's happened. Remember this number, anywhere from $3 to $5 billion a day. That's not $1 million, that's $1 billion a day. Nobody can even imagine it. And that's what we were losing. And, hence we have $36 trillion in debt and everything else. And in the end, I think what's going to happen is we're going to have great deals. And by the way, if we don't have a deal with a company or a country, we're going to set the tariff. We just set the tariff. It's something that we think that will happen, I'd say, over the next couple of weeks. Wouldn't you say? I think so. Over the next 2-3 weeks, we'll be setting the number. And we're going to pick, could be for China too, could be for China. Well, we're dealing with almost all of them. Too many to fully deal with, but we're going to be fair to them. But we're dealing with a lot of countries right now, and could be with China, but maybe we'll make a special, a deal, and we'll see what it will be. Right now, it's 145%. That's very high. It got there because of the fentanyl. They're sending, massive amounts of fentanyl into our country and killing a lot of people, probably 200,000 plus a year, wiping them out. You probably all have friends who were killed. Somebody was killed in your family or your friends with fentanyl, and somehow it's made almost exclusively in China. And as you know, we essentially taxed them 10 and then another 10. We also taxed Mexico 25 and we taxed Canada 25. And that's the kind of money that's what's pouring into our country right now. And it's gotten us down from losing $3 to $5 billion a day to actually making money, but breaking even, let's say, but we're going to make a lot of money. And that money is going to be used to reduce taxes. We're going to get big tax breaks. We're going to, there was a time, I said it this morning, I think some of you were there. There was a time from 1870 to 1913, it was a long time ago, we were an all tariff nation. Foreign nations paid taxes. They paid money to us in the form of tariffs. And that was when we were the wealthiest. We were the wealthiest proportionately that we ever were. And they formed committees in 1887 in particular, but they formed committees to determine what we should do with all the money. We had so much money. You guys would have loved it. We had so much money, they didn't know what to do with it. We gave it away to different causes, and you haven't seen that too much anymore, although we give plenty away, but now we shouldn't be giving it away. We have to take care of ourselves first, right? But we were very wealthy and proportionately the wealthiest we ever were. We built the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave that away for $1, by the way. One of the most profitable things ever built, the Panama Canal. We gave it away for $1 to Panama. Why? I don't know. Nobody knows, but that's what we had. We had people like that sitting behind this desk. And that shouldn't have happened. Panama Canal, it was the most expensive thing ever built by our country in history. I'm talking relative dollars. We've never built anything so expensive. I think it was the equivalent of $1.7 billion. And we've never built anything
That
like
can't
that.
be right.
We built a lot of things, but never so expensive. Then we started building other things. We had a lot of money to do it, all based on foreign countries coming in and paying us tariffs. And we're doing that again. And I think we're going to make so much that we're going to be able to reduce taxes in this country by a lot. And we're also going to treat those countries very fairly. But if we don't make a deal, which is possible, we're going to just set the price. Because you remember, they have to come in, they want to come in here, and they want to do business with the United States. So we want to set a fair price.
It's
and we'll do that. We're
8.3
gonna be
billion.
very fair, but we'll set a fair price. And then they can make a determination as to whether or not they want to do business with the United States. And I think most of them will. And I think we're going to treat them very fairly.
Were you worried about what the 145% tariffs were doing to small businesses here in the U.S.? Is that why you're bringing it down?
No, I haven't brought it down.
It's actually more money relative, remember. It costs 8.3 billion.
It is a high tariff, but I haven't brought it down. It basically means China's not doing any business with us, essentially, because it's a very high number. So when you add that to the price of a product, a lot of those products aren't going to sell. But China's not doing any business. They were doing $1.1 trillion. Think of that, $1.1 trillion. You know what that is? And it was just very unfair to us. And we were doing relatively very little with them. It was very one-sided. But I get along very well with President Xi, and I hope we can make a deal. Otherwise, we'll set a price, and hopefully they'll come here and they'll contribute. And if they don't, that's okay.
Sir, on your trip
Jerome, there's a lot of leaders attending the Pope's funeral who also said they'd like to meet with you while you're there. Do you have any meetings set up? Or are you looking to
Yes, I do. I have a lot of meetings set up. I don't know if I can do it. Do you want to help me out, fellas? I got a lot of meetings. I got every leader in the world, which tells you that we have a good product. It's called the United States of America, and it's great. And these people know about it better than anybody in this room. But we have a great place, and it should be a lot greater. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to make it greater than ever before. It's very simple.
Who are you going to be meeting with, President Zelensky?
Well, I have a lot of meetings set up. Yeah.
And are you
a lot.
bringing anyone with you in the U.S. delegation to the funeral, like Secretary Rubio or a former president?
We have a couple of people coming. We'll announce it probably this evening or tomorrow. First Lady's going, and some people are coming with me from staff. But we'll have a number of people going. I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful ceremony.
So I had one on Ukraine, but I wanted to ask you one about veterans since they are here today, and thank you for your service and sacrifice. I wanted to ask you about the cuts that have been made, including with the VA. Can you assure that veterans like these men here, those that have been suffering from mental health issues or burn pits, for example, will be taken care of?
Yeah, very much so. In fact, they will tell you it's been better with me than any president in history. We had a 92% approval rating, which is unheard of, up 50 points from the previous administration in my first 4 years. And we're doing better now. And in fact, now they have something to call in doctor stuff where it's really become, modernized and great. We don't have to go and travel sometimes long distances to get to a clinic or get to the VA. And I just heard this morning, I was listening to Doug Collins, who's the secretary. He was being interviewed, and the numbers are incredible. The approval ratings are the highest I've never heard numbers like this. It's better than the first 4 years. So no, there's no group of people more important than the people in this room. And I'm not talking about the media. I'm talking about these people right here. There's no group, and they're going to be taken really well care of. That's very important to me.
And on the war in Ukraine, are you going to be meeting with President Zelensky? He's asked to meet with you this weekend. Will you be meeting with him?
I don't know. I don't know that he's going to the funeral or not, but I just hope he gets this thing solved, because we're losing about, think of this, 5,000. I was saying 2,500, and everyone was telling me that's low. 5,000 soldiers are being killed every week. Approximately. Think of that. Every week, 5,000 soldiers, but let's say from 3,000 to 5,000 are being killed. They're Russian and Ukrainian. They're not Americans, but they're Russian, but they're people. And they're humans. They're human beings. They have families. They wave goodbye to their son, and then they get a call that the son's no longer there. It's a vicious war. And if I can help solve it, we're not losing our soldiers, but we're losing soldiers, a lot of people. And if I can solve it because of a certain ability, that would be great. And if it doesn't happen, I will say that I think Russia is ready. And a lot of people said Russia wanted to go for the whole thing. And I think we have a deal with Russia. We have to get a deal with Zelensky. And I hope that I thought it might be easier to deal with Zelensky. So far, it's been harder. But that's okay. It's all right. But I think we have a deal with both. I hope they do it, because I'm looking to save. And, we spend a lot of money, but this is about a lot of humanity. This is the worst. I get the pictures, the satellite pictures. I've never seen anything like it, of the fields after some of these battles. It's horrible that it's going for nothing. We would have never had this problem. You would have never had that war if I were president. I guarantee you that. And for 4 years, you didn't have it.
Are you going to meet with Vladimir Putin? Are you going to meet with Vladimir Putin in Saudi Arabia?
It's possible, but most likely not. I think we'll meet with him shortly thereafter.
What is Mr. Wickoff going to present to the
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, during the Biden administration in the campaign, with inflation raging, he lowered interest rates 2 times.
That's right.
Now, with 2 consecutive months of inflation being down, all economic theory you learned in the 8th grade says it's time to cut rates when inflation is down.
You're right.
He's not done that. Have you had any direct conversation with him?
No, I haven't. I haven't called him. I might call him. I haven't called him, but I believe he's making a mistake by not lowering interest rates. And I think as well as we're doing, we'd do much better. he's keeping rates too high. He historically has been late, except when it came to Biden. He was recommended by a certain person that I'm not particularly happy with, but he will hopefully do the right thing. The right thing is to lower interest rates. So we'll see what happens. I think we're sitting on something that's going to be very good with all the tariff money starting to come in. Our country's going to be doing really well, and hopefully he'll be. We don't have inflation. Groceries are down. When I first came in, you people were there. They hit me with the first day that I was president. Somebody started screaming at me that eggs are up. I said, I just got here. And in the first week, they were going crazy. You remember that, Linda?
Yes.
They were going crazy. They're saying egg prices are too. I said, I'm here for 1 week. Just leave me alone. This is a fake news radio. And I said, what can I tell you? But Brooke Rollins, our Secretary of Agriculture, and a group working with her have done an amazing job. And egg prices have gone down 87%. Energy now is down $65 a barrel. They have some energy selling gasoline for less than $2 in a couple of states, Alabama, a couple of great states, but all over the country, it's way down from what it was 6 months ago, 3 months ago. And that has a lot to do with the war. When Biden allowed energy to skyrocket, it just skyrocketed. It was out of control. Russia made a lot more money because they make their money on energy. And I kept saying, he supposedly wants to end the war, but he lets energy go out of control. Well, I've gotten it. We are drilling like crazy right now, and we have it down to $65 a barrel. It went up to almost $100 a barrel. And at that number, Putin and Russia made a lot of money. So I think one of the reasons, I think he has a certain respect for me. But one of the big reasons is oil prices are down. I think this is a good time to get the war settled. Thank you. Thank you for that question.
For those of us that live here in the district, you said when you came in, you were going to make Washington, D.C. great again.
Right.
One of the issues we've got right now is we understand there might be an imminent deal between the owner of the Washington football team, whatever you want to call them now, Commanders, and locally in getting the Redskins back to DC and RFK Stadium. That's on federal property.
Right.
Are you going to be involved in that negotiation?
Yeah.
And would one of the stipulations be they change the name back to the Redskins?
Oh, I see. Well, that's a little bit, nobody's asked me that one. Look, I think when the Indian population is a great part of this country, a great heritage. And we were talking about Massapequa, Long Island, the Chiefs, they call themselves the Chiefs, or the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not changing their name. A great team, great people, great owners, great coach and quarterback. I love the quarterback, like his girlfriend too, and his wife. His wife is great. She's been a big fan. His quarterback's mother is incredible. I like that team. They're called the Chiefs, and frankly, I see nothing wrong with it. They call them the Warriors, and not that team, but a lot of other teams, and all of these Indian surnames and different names. And I'm saying that I think that's a positive thing. And when you go back to Indians, they polled this. They don't know why these names are being taken off. They're trying to. I think it's degrading to the Indian population, and it's a great population, and they like when they're called by various names. Now, Washington. The Redskins, perhaps that's a little bit different, but I can tell you that I spoke to people of Indian heritage that love that name and they love that team. And I think it's I think it's a superior name to what they have right now. And it had heritage behind it. It had something special. But a lot of the names having to do with, different places, not just Indians, but I think it's, they changed the name of the Cleveland Indians. Why would you take the name Indians off the Cleveland Indians? And now it's called the Cleveland something else, right? Guardians. It just doesn't make sense to me. So we're about bringing common sense back to this country. And it may be popular or unpopular what I'm saying and I've just said to you. He's a nice guy. He got a lot out of me on this one, but I think most people agree with me. I think it really is demeaning to Indians. But to change the name of the Cleveland Indians as an example to the Cleveland Guardians, it's not the same, and I'm sure it has an impact on the team. Please.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Elon Musk said he'll be stepping back from his work with Doge a little bit and only dedicating maybe a day or two a week to it. How long would you like to see that continue, and how involved would you like to see him continue to be after?
Well, first of all, I can't speak more highly about any individual. He's an incredible guy. He's a brilliant guy. He's a wonderful person. I've seen him with his family. I've seen him with a lot of his children. He's got a lot of children. He treats them good. He loves his children. But he's a brilliant guy. And he was a tremendous help, both in the campaign and in what he's done with Doge. And, you know, we're talking about almost $200 billion and rising fast, because many of the things that we were looking at are now being found out to be fact. It's terrible. I mean, the fraud, the waste, the abuse, the everything that's happened is just terrible. So I also know that he was treated very unfairly by I guess you'd call it the public, by some of the public, not by all of it. I say he makes an incredible car, makes everything he does is good, but they took it out on Tesla. And I just thought it was so unfair because he's trying to help the country, but he has helped the country. I also want him to make sure that he's going to be in great shape. And I know he is. I mean, he's going to do great. He loves the country. He didn't need to do this. He did it. And I told him, I said, you know, whenever you're ready, I'd like to keep him for a long time, but whenever you're ready, he's an exceptional guy. When you see those rockets go up and come back and land in the same gantry, nobody else can do that but this man. So he's just an incredible person, and he's a friend of mine, and he's a nice person too. He's a very nice person. He really helped the country, saved us a lot of money. And I heard him say that he'll start easing, he was always at this time going to ease out. And when he goes back to Tesla, that'll be taken care of. It's artificial. These were sick people that thought they were doing something. He's a great patriot, and it shouldn't be the way, that should never have happened to him. And I will tell you right now, he makes a great product. It's a great car. It's great everything. Starlink is great. What he does is good. He's doing medical things that are amazing. And we have to, at some point, let him go and do that. And we expect him to be doing it about this time. But I'll talk to Elon about it. Thank you for the question.
Mr. President, a second question. Yeah. Canada has an election coming up. How do you have a prediction for that, and what do you think the results?
With respect to Canada,
with the negotiations?
Oh, I don't want to predict other nations' elections. It's tough enough doing this one. Look, I love the Canadian people. I like Canada, but it's costing us $200 billion a year to support Canada. $200 billion. And I say, why are we doing that? You know what? We can make our own cars. We have more energy than they do. We have more energy than anybody in the world. We don't need their lumber, obviously. We have more lumber. We have a lot of lumber. We have a lot of everything that they sell us. But in particular, cars, they took a large percentage of the car making, and I want to bring it back to this country. I really don't want cars from Canada. So when I put tariffs on Canada, they're paying 25%, but that could go up in terms of cars. When we put tariffs on, all we're doing is we're saying we don't want your cars in all due respect. We want really to make our own cars, which is what we're doing in record numbers now. You know, we're going to be at record levels in a very near future because of all the plants, the car plants that are being built. And I'd rather see them made in Michigan and made in South Carolina and made in different states, Tennessee. We have a lot of great car making states, and we have some that aren't car making yet, but they will soon be car making states. And that's what I want to see for our country. At the same time, I want to help Canada. I've spoken to the current Prime Minister. He was very, very nice, I will say. Very nice. We had a couple of very nice conversations, very good. But I don't think it's appropriate for me to get involved in their election.
Mr. President, if I may, this deal that you have with Russia, does it include recognizing Russia's sovereignty over Crimea?
Well, everything is good. Look, I just want to see the war end. I don't care. If they're both happy, they both sign an agreement. I have no favorites. I don't want to have any favorites. I want to have a deal done. I want to save the lives. Now, with that being said, we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars through Biden. Biden should have never let that war happen. We're spending hundreds of billions, maybe $350 billion we've given to Ukraine. And we could use that money right here. So I'd like to see that. But most importantly right now is when I see the pictures, the satellite pictures of the battlefield, if I can stop that because of an ability I have to do things, I want to see if I can do that. Yeah.
Mr. President, thank you. On tariffs, you just mentioned that 25% could go up on cars in terms of Canada. Does that mean that you're considering changes to the auto tariffs and auto parts?
No, we're not considering it now, but at some point it could go up. Yeah, because again, we don't really want Canada to make cars for us, to put it bluntly. We want to make our own cars, and we're now equipped to do that. They took a lot of our car business. Mexico, too, took a lot of our car business. We want to make the cars here. I'm running this country. I'm not running Canada. And that's why I asked Trudeau, who I call Governor Trudeau affectionately, but I asked him, why are we spending $200 billion to support Canada, to subsidize Canada? And he was unable to answer the question. I mean, why are we doing that? And I have to be honest, as a state, it works great. As a nation, considering the fact that most of the nation, 95% of Canada, what they do is they buy from us and they sell to us. They sell to us. If we didn't buy their oil, and we don't need their oil. We have more oil than anyone, but we don't need their oil. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their cars. We don't need anything. So I said, why are we doing this? Why are we spending $200 billion? It doesn't make sense. If we needed something, that would be a different subject. So I'm working well with Canada. We're doing very well. We're working on a deal. We'll see what happens. But again, why, representing this country, why are we spending $200 billion to support and subsidize another country? Because if they didn't have us, and if we didn't spend that money, as Trudeau told me, they would cease to exist. He said that to me. They would cease to exist, which is true, certainly as a country.
And then on tourism, there's been a steep drop off in international travel to the United States. It was down 12% last month, down even more from Western Europe. Why do you think that there are fewer people suddenly who want to travel to the United States?
Well, there could be a little, there's a little nationalism there, I guess, perhaps. It's not a big deal, but, with the dollar being where it is, because, China would always fight for having a low dollar. Japan would always fight for having a low dollar, meaning a low yen, or in the case of China, the yuan. They'd always want to have, I'd speak to President Xi a lot. I'd say it's unfair that your yuan is so low. I'd call up a great man.
These Our Place new titanium pots are here to take your cooking to the next level. I love how this is remarkable.
Unfortunately assassinated. And I used to tell you, he was a good friend of mine. I used to say, Shinzo, you can't let your yen go down. It makes it very hard for us to sell tractors. It makes it very hard to us to get tourism. And our dollar is a little bit on the low side. And that means that a lot of tourism is going to come in. But I could see a little bit nationalism at work. And I can see it likewise with us not wanting to go to certain countries. But that will work out very
Do
easily.
you think some people are scared to come here because they hear the stories of tourists who are detained for a few days
No.
or even a week or two?
No, we treat our tourists great. We're the tourism capital of the world. There's no place like this. And there may be a little bit of nationalism, but I doubt it. I actually doubt it. Yeah.
Mr. President, has there been any direct contact between the U.S. and China for trade at all?
Yeah, of course.
And
Every day.
every day. And then secondly, would you support a millionaire tax?
I think it would be very disruptive because a lot of the millionaires would leave the country. In the old days, they left states. They go from one state to the other. Now with transportation so quick and so easy, they leave countries. You'll lose a lot of money if you do that. And other countries that have done it have lost a lot of people. They lose their wealthy people. That would be bad because the wealthy people pay the tax. Okay?
Sir, how did the talks today go in London? Do you think that the asks from Ukraine?
Ooh, deep breath.
I think they went well. I mean, we got to get two people two strong people, two smart people to agree. And as soon as they agree, the killing will stop. But yeah, I think they went well, pretty well.
Mr. President, we understand that you, your economic team, many of them are here today, J.D. Vance, has negotiated what's been called a monster trade deal with India, like biggest one ever. Can you share with us what some of the framework of that might be?
You said England.
India.
India?
India.
Oh.
Muslim.
They're not very complicated, these deals. It's about the tariffs. India charges almost more than any other country in the world. And believe it or not, we do very little business with India, other than the fact that I like the Prime Minister very much. He's a friend of mine. He was here 2 weeks ago, as you know. And we stood right outside at a news conference. Unfortunately, the grass was very wet. And it was very hard for people to stand on the grass. They got their shoes all ruined. But other than that, it was a very good news conference. And he's a great guy. But we do very little business. You know why? Because their tariffs are so high. They have among the highest tariffs, higher than China. They have among the highest tariffs in the world. And I understand they're going to reduce those tariffs, but it's really sort of their problem, not ours. We do very, very little purchasing in India because and selling. We do very little selling. I mean, Harley Davidson, I said, how are you doing in India? This is about 6 years ago. They came to lunch as a great American company. They make the motorcycles. And I said, how are you doing in India, as an example? Well, we don't do any business there. Why? Because the tariffs are too high. I said, that's interesting. Well, what are you going to do? He said, well, we're going to build a plant in India. And that's what they did. I don't want that to happen. They were forced to build a plant. Well, essentially what we're doing is the same thing. Remember, there's no tariff when they build their plant here. And everybody wants to build because they don't want and the higher the tariffs go, the more likely it is they come in and build a plant. You know, I mean, if it's 25%, that's fine. If it's 50%, you'll get more plants. 75, you get more. At 100, you get more than that. And they're all coming in at numbers that I don't think, Howard, there's ever been numbers like we've seen.
No.
$7-8 trillion worth in 2 months. Because it took me a month to get started, in all fairness. But in 2 months, we did this. And now we're coming up on 100 days, first 100 days. And I think we're going to be close to $8 trillion. There was never any president that did even a tiny percentage of that. Okay, any other questions?
Sure. What about a deal signed, one of the deals signed by your 100-day mark, and China is saying that you were threatening and blackmailing them into a deal. What would be your response?
Well, I mean, China, look, I have great relationships in China with President Xi in particular, but China has been charging us massive tariffs for many years. That's one of the reasons they were able to steal so many of our companies. They took our companies out of America and they built their plants in China. And one of those things. So now we're reversing it, but at levels that nobody's ever seen before. No, we're going to get along great with China. I have no doubt about it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Thank you.
There we go. All right. Well, all the rumors on X were complete bullshit, so that's fun. Complete other bullshit. Shout out to Zero Hedge and Kobasai Letter, and don't know where their source got that information from, but there was nothing on tariffs other than the questions. So, man, that just goes to show how much false news Twitter posts pretty quickly there for you guys. Yeah, if you guys were following me on X, you guys would have known. I mean, if you guys have probably seen it on X, like everybody was saying, hey, Trump's going to speak right here. Look at this. Breaking President Trump says he is not considering changes to the automobile auto parts. Just 1 hour ago, look at this. Financial Times reported that President Trump will be exempting car makers. So their sources, very wrong. Very, very, very wrong. Bitcoin hasn't done too much, to be honest. I mean, it's fluctuated a few $100, but really, I mean, to be honest, not a lot of volatility at all in that meeting whatsoever. So, man, dude, it's crazy. That's why you should be using facts, not rumors. Matt, I don't know if you know how this works, but when you take multiple sources of information saying something's going to happen, we're going to report on multiple sources saying something's going to happen. That's just kind of how news works. It's how it flows through it. I don't directly have Donald Trump's number to call up, be like, hey, is this Is this real? But hey, you know what? We're going to be covering all the news. Every single conference we'll be covering it, guys. We're here to do this with you guys. We're here to cover all the macros, get all the content, get all the coverage. You know, that's what we do this for. So, you know, that's how news works. Good thing the rumor wasn't that poop tastes like pudding. I mean, it's pretty close. No, you know, it's just, again, I mean, you're going to see a lot of the same conversations, but everybody knows these tariffs are going to, like, these negotiations are going to go. Everybody knows that. Anybody that's not for these negotiations, I don't know, dude. Like, I think they're the same type of people that have never traveled to a, you know, like outside the United States, but act like they understand all these other countries. Like they're all about China. Oh, China's so successful, even though it's like a communist state. They've never even been there or visited or actually understand how it actually operates on the inside. You know, it's or let alone just study it. I mean, if you've read even just a few history books, read The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. Perfect example. He's somebody that believes China can actually take over one day. That one day is more likely decades and decades and decades away if the United States does not reverse what we're trying to reverse today. You know, it's just, you have to participate. These are like, it's funny when people go like, oh, it doesn't matter what he says. These are our world. This is quite literally the top of, these are the world leaders negotiating, you know, trade deals. And if you're not caught up with that and you're investing, yada, 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 it can make things go very, very sideways. So we'll be covering it no matter what administration it is, who's speaking, what's talking. But right now it is Scott Bessent, it is Jerome Powell, it is Donald Trump, it is Howard Lutnick. These are the people. It's Mark Rubio. They're the ones that are covering most of the macro conversations. Marco Rubio is the one traveling to the Middle East. He's the one traveling to Panama, making these, you know, trade negotiations. We have to cover it. You know, this is what we have to do, man. This is some Anchorman shit. Stay classy, San Diego. Whale's vagina, dude. You know what's up, my man. I think I need to stop watching YouTube and just watch charts. See, that's the beauty of this, Matt. We can do it at the same time, right? We could do it at the same time. We could watch YouTube and watch charts. I love watching minute charts, though, Matt. I really do. I've done it a lot. I've probably done it over 10,000 hours. I am probably a master at staring at the 1 minute chart in some ways. China under their regime won't take over economically. I would agree on many fronts, but at the same time, if we kept down this path of endless money printing and debt cycles, like, I mean, China is a massive country that's indoctrinated and taken over many different second, third world nations. So never say never, you know what I mean? Josh, you should wear a bow tie during these Trump announcements. Hell no, dude. Dude, me in a bow tie? Hell no. Everyone in the world needs American markets. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but like, guys, I'm not like a regionalist. I don't think regionalism is good. I think we should lower our sanctions. I think we should make peace with Russia. I think we should make peace with China. We should open up better trade deals. They just need to be fair and they need to be economically strengthened to where the United States doesn't threaten its economic from a national security standpoint or an economic security standpoint. You know, but like, it's funny. People are like, you're conservative. I'm like the most anti-war person ever. I'm a huge environmentalist. I'm insanely anti-war. I'm huge on open trade, on open free trade, which I guess is more of that capitalist perspective. But, you know, we need international trade deals. You need international rule sets that are abided by. You need fair trade. That's just how it, like, and I'm one that I experience this firsthand, guys. Like, I'm literally going to Dubai to go raise money for my company. I should not have to fucking go to Dubai to raise money. You know, I love Dubai though. Dubai is a great place. There's a lot of great, tons of innovation. Saudi Arabia is an amazing place to be. But I shouldn't have to travel 28 hours and spend $4,000 to $8,000 if I want business class tickets to travel halfway across the globe to raise money for something I'm building in the United States. Like, some people say traveling is fun. No, dude, it's exhausting. And guys, like, you know, that might sound like you guys might be like, oh, you poor thing, you have to travel. I get that, but you have to realize that is a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy. That should be just putting it back into the U.S. economy. I should be raising here. I should be welcomed here. We should be innovating here, right? Which is why I'm working alongside New York and, you know, helping put together the summit for the mayor of New York City. It's why we're focusing on deregulation in the financial sector for crypto, and so we could raise more money here. It's why we're trying to access these markets to more investors without gatekeepers and bit license and things like that you know, make banks just choke retail out of these markets. You know, so we have to fight for that. But at the same time, it's like, if you don't understand that, you know, it's funny to me when I talk to people that are like, you know, we need to tax the rich. I'm like, how stupid is that? It's like, I understand, like, on paper, that sounds amazing, but look at the UK. You go to Dubai, I'm going to give you guys here's some real alpha for you. There's only 250,000 locals in Dubai. The other 6.75 million are people from either Australia or the UK. I swear to God, there's a lot of Russians there as well. But it's a lot of UK, Australia, people that are foreign that are leaving their countries because it's easier to build within Dubai. All of that money is leaving those high interest rate, high tax based environments. Like nobody's building and raising in London right now. I've had these conversations with like literally multi-hundred millionaires that are from London and Dubai. And so it's like, that's a scary thought, right? It's amazing for Saudi Arabia, man, they're making more money than ever, but it's bad for those local environments. It's bad for the UK. It's bad for the US in the long term. That's my point to that. I'll come with you to Dubai, Josh. It's a great place, dude. I love Dubai. I'll go there. This is my third time. Yeah, so it's third time in Dubai, third time in Dubai because I went once to Abu Dhabi. That's where, yeah. Broke my brain really quick right there. But spent a lot of time out there, and I'll be doing it a lot more. Is this my fourth time? I'm retarded. How do I forget how many times I've been to the Middle East, dude? It's only a couple of times. Yep, I lived there 8 years, only about 10% local. Let's see, Florida guy knows what's up, man. Yeah. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I would like to, raise money. Like I should be going to Miami or somewhere in Texas or dude, hell, I should be in New York, If I'm going to go raise $1.5 million, I should be doing it in the US so I could build, within the US. Bro, tax the effing rich. The UK isn't taxing the rich. What are you talking about? Jesus, man. Guys, you can't tax the rich. It's fundamentally a flawed ideology. Unless you're going to somehow magically replace global capitalism, your argument's flawed at the get-go. You can't change the global system. You just can't. We live in a globalist capitalist society, and that's not going to change. Even China uses capitalistic or state-based capitalism to prosper. That is how the world works. So if you're going to tax people somewhere, they're going to go somewhere else that's cheaper. And that's just how capitalism works. Like if we were to put a 40% tax on the rich, they're going to go look at some countries going to step up and lower their tax policies to bring that money to them. That is how it works. Also, you have to realize if you're taxing the rich, who's going to invest into new startups? That's my biggest takeaway. And I'm not saying we shouldn't tax the rich. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we should make taxing more efficient, though. Like, it's most our taxes are just wasted right now, massively. Hundreds of billions of dollars are wasted. $200 billion shouldn't be going to fucking Ukraine. Not while we have homelessness running rampant on our streets and a huge housing crisis within the U.S. Right? Bro has to fly business class? No, dude, you guys are... you don't have to be such a wuss, dude. I said you could fly economy, you could fly premium, you could fly whatever. I'm fine with flying whatever it is. But yeah, dude, business class is amazing. If you guys are trying to run a business and travel for 28 hours, dude, business class is so worth it if you can afford it. You get to lay back in your chair, get full sleep, get better food, get better Wi-Fi, have a whole laptop working space. Dude, it's such entitled bullshit. Yeah, well, I also have, 20 employees. So, Serge, you can sit on a dildo, my man. Like, what a pussy thing to say, dude. Oh my goodness, he's flying in business class. What an entitled piece of shit, dude. You're crazy, dude. And crazy, man. That is your estrogen levels are seeping through the comment section. Tax corporations, not people. Again, I think they should pay their shares of taxes. Yeah. But like to say that taxing the rich and just raising taxes is going to solve an issue when the issue is the spending problem, not the taxing problem in the first place. Like the issue we have with debt in the U.S. economy is a spending problem, not a taxation problem. We have tons of money coming in from taxes. Not going to make it. Dude, you just got roasted, bro. It's okay though, Serge. I still love you. Well, least founder like person ever encountered. Dude, he's got chat. Guys, Serge has got me, guys. How dare, not even first class, mind you. I didn't even say first class. Didn't even say, just simply one above economy. We went to business. Okay, that's all we're saying. We went from first to, which I'm not even flying business there because I'm bringing my wife this time. So we're flying premium economy technically. But it's so crazy, dude. Serge. Oh, he's so gay, dude. That is funny, man. Rich own nothing and run on debt. Exactly. So you can't even tax the rich. That's exactly my point. Like the people that are multi-millions, like deca millions, 100 millionaires, dude, there's so many loopholes in the system that need to be fixed that will take years to fix. And again, you can't even do that because most of these politicians are lobbying and taking advantage of those same tax loopholes. It's a flawed. I understand I understand it. Like I completely understand you. It sounds amazing. It's a great goal, right? We should tax the rich, make them pay their fair share, so that way it's better for a social level in the United States, or for local areas. They've been trying to do that for 110 years. It's never worked. Never will work. Wealth gap continues to divide. There it is. Who cares? Good. Fly private. Who cares, dude? I would 100% fly private if I could. 100%. 100%. Flying private's not going to go anywhere. And all the environmentalists like Bernie Sanders and AOC we're all pro-environment. Dude, they're literally flying around on their private jets 24/7. They might take economy when they're going 3 hours, but dude, they're flying private all the time, dude. Al Gore flies straight up. He has his own private jet. It's amazing, dude. Josh, LOL, the comments you have to deal with. I like it. It's fun banter, man. Gets a little spicy sometimes. That's why I want people to come on the show. I want call-ins, man. It's way better with call-ins are even better. Call-ins are even better. Banned. No, we actually all those rules are we fit into YouTube standards now. Let's go. I'm in Atlanta. You need a dude. I'm nowhere near a jet, dude. I would not buy a jet for a long time, dude. You have to be like. I don't even think people that are worth 100 million should be driving private. Like, dude, private jets are so expensive. Like, you're spending millions on that? No. Discover crypto, homophobic? Hell no, dude. I love who you want to love, dude. I'm like you guys are so emotional, so sensitive. What's happening? What's happening, guys? Why did YouTube get so sensitive? Trolling can be fun, but do it in a big boy way. Oh, dude. Matt got me, guys. I need to be a big boy. He wants me to be a big boy here. Taxing the rich forces the rich out of the country and causes inflation. Crypto pricey. You're speaking with too much. You're too base, bro. You're too base, man. Better off renting a private. Dude, I just still wouldn't do it. It's like, why not just fly? Dude, fly first class at that point. Why do you need a private jet? I mean, it'd be fun to take private jets every now and then, but I don't know. And actually, this is a fun fact that people don't know. I actually know a lot of influencers. Like, if you get enough people to take private, it's actually cheaper than going first class. So there's ways you can make it more affordable based off what you're trying to do. But yeah. The people I'm really jealous of are the pilots that have their own planes, dude. That's what I'm jealous of. Like, I'm like every now and then I'll be scrolling on TikTok or something and I see some like insanely successful lawyer that also has his pilot license. He's got his own private jet he flies his family with, dude. I'm like, that is a level of bad. That is a different level of badass. Be yourself here. Nobody cares. Exactly, dude. Liquidity pool sooner. Is that true? Yes, Ryan. I think TJ is going to start doing that. That is definitely his focus. You could do like motorcycle guys too, but you bicycles. And do you like a no ride for charity instead of riding for what is happening here? Appreciate anytime, Jake. I was on Joshua's side. Everyone relax. Matt, I'm just reading every comment. I don't even know where we're at in the conversation anymore. Guys, just have fun. Just breathe, man. Just breathe, guys. Just breathe. We're all here together. I'm not going anywhere. I was here at 3K. Told I was an idiot at 3K Bitcoin. Told I was an idiot at 15K Bitcoin. Told I was an idiot at 30K Bitcoin. Told I was an idiot at 50K Bitcoin. I'll be called an idiot at 100K Bitcoin. It's fun. It's fun, man. Can we please talk crypto, guys? Guys, we've been live for 2 hours. This is the end of stream rant sesh that we get for 5 minutes a day. And we got to let it out. We got to let out that anger, guys. Urgh. Jerry Banfield. I don't know who that is, Kirk. I actually don't know who that is. Yes, lots of companies have jets. Yeah, that again, completely different conversation. I'm running a startup, which of course you guys have seen. We're gonna have our products launching later this weekend. But everybody starts somewhere. You don't just start with $100 million company. That's just not how it works. Got to start by bootstrapping and then raising and then building a legitimate product. Most of those products for a lot of millionaires fail usually the first 5 to 10 times before they create an actual successful one. Doesn't need to be serious all the time. I got to be constantly in a trade, guys, 24/7, which we made $5,000 today, by the way, guys. If you want to enter a giveaway here, again, doesn't matter who you are, what you like, what you love, giving away $100 to one lucky winner off this $5,000 trade we made earlier today in the Telegram chat. So, yeah, all you got to do is like, repost, follow me on X here, guys. Going to be giving that away. Huge win today off one given trade there. So, good place to be. Man, got a vision. Dude, I can't wait to share with you guys what we're doing, man. I mean, I want to help on a policy front from a government scale. I want to help with the product we're building as a user-based product for the first time. I think that the crypto space lacks a huge user focus that I'm hoping able to bring to the table here. We're solving the, I mean, type 1 in chat if you feel like influencers lie to you 90% of the time. Everybody should be putting 1 in the chat, right? We're solving a lot of issues on the back end with advertisers and influencers, making sure that we not only focus on complete disclosure of contracts, but make it easier for advertisers and consumers. But the initial product itself is completely based for the users. We have free entry points. It's like the Bloomberg terminal of crypto. Tons of value added to it for the user focus first. And then we integrate products slowly. I think one of the biggest issues in crypto right now is most of you probably do this already, but you're probably paying for 10 different subscriptions for 20 different products, and you're spending hundreds of dollars a month on indicators for trading. I think that's ridiculous. I think it should be much more a la carte. I think as you grow as a creator, as you grow as a user or a research analyst, you should slowly integrate to those products and customize it based on what you like to build. So we have really cool customization tools, a cool system that you built that you've never seen before. And that's all coming out here very, very soon. And I'm very excited to be helping spearhead that. It's going to be a great time. They spread fear. Josh too. Oh, hell yeah, baby. Let's see what we got. We talk a lot about Plume on our channel. Also just have, what's up, DeFi? Yeah, guys, DeFi crypto airdrops. Make sure you guys go give them a follow here. Plume's an absolute wonderful play. We called that one literally at its bottom, which was beautiful. 9 cents, baby. That 9-cent Plume entry point was perfect. Now at 17, so still about a 2x from there. The other one's obviously Ondo, which we're huge fan of on this channel, looking like it's going to drop again, probably retest 90 cents. If it's following that same pattern here, Bitcoin's going to have to turn around for that. I only follow the influencer I trust on X. I mean, hey, but with that said, question everything. Even though I'm saying stuff and spewing stuff, my research is going to be wrong sometimes. You want to be, double. You don't want to be questioning everything, and that's what the product we're building is going to incorporate. It's a huge SocialFi trading indicator tool system that, dude, I'm so ready to share with the world. So ready to share with the world. You're going to remove the breaking news pattern? I totally should, actually. That's actually a very valid point, and I didn't even realize. I don't even know how long that was live on there until you just told me. Yeah, absolutely base. But all right, guys, that's all I got for you tonight. I appreciate you for watching. I got to get to the gym. Hit that like button on your way out. Thanks for letting us rant and have fun and banter back and forth at the end chat. Still love you, Matt. Still love everybody. This is what we're here for, to have conversation. So talk to you guys soon. Peace out.